Hello, Barbie and Ken, and welcome to our review, or bad movie reviews, hosted by your two favourite Kens, Ben and Daniel. And we are reviewing Oppenheimer for this one. No, clearly we are reviewing a very highly anticipated film for both of us, which is none other than Greta Gerwig's Barbie. For any of you who don't know, Greta Gerwig is one of my favourite filmmakers and made two of my favourite films of possibly all time in Lady Bird and Little Women, and she is helming Barbie, which, if you don't know, is, to try and keep it as loose as possible, is based on obviously the figure, the doll, Barbie, who I guess has a bit of a existential crisis and leads, she questions the world and her existence, and it's a
feels
2-hour film, an hour and a half, 2-hour film unfolds, but I'll leave it as there because I don't want to go into too much spoiler territory and uncover the plot, because I think it is definitely a film that I guess thrives off knowing as least as possible.
Yeah, I agree.
But anyway, what were your thoughts on the film?
Well,
I know we both had this in our...
I'm gonna switch things up here and do something a bit different. But just straight up, thought this movie was fantastic. But I actually do want to throw it to you to start. If you watch any of our reviews, everyone here, I'm normally the one that gives like the nice simplified version as I kind of learn more about like the art of film itself. But Ben is quite great at articulating the film, and I think it deserves that too. So I would actually like you to start and give it some of your nice, delicious points straight up, and then maybe I'll have things to go on.
Sure. In terms of the actual film itself, I probably don't know if I'll have a funner time at the cinema this year. It is... I can imagine it would get not mixed reviews, but mixed reactions, depending on who's seeing it, whether they're comfortable with themselves and whether they're comfortable with men getting taken the piss out of and all that. It's a very on-the-nose film, very meta movie. But I guess we'll start off with actors. I thought Margot Robbie was a very perfect casting for Barbie. I thought she was fantastic. She brings a lot of warmth and like a bit of human side of things to the performance of Barbie, which obviously is a doll. But I think we all know that Ryan Gosling as Ken really steals the show, and rightfully, not rightfully so, but quite literally is just brilliant in this film, and the comedic mannerisms and just the delivery of each line and the facial expressions and everything about his performance is perfect. And I know we said this in our Oppenheimer review that like come sort of early next year, late this year, I genuinely think Ryan Gosling will be in talks for like a best supporting actor at the Oscars. And I'm not kidding. Like Robert Downey Jr. was fantastic in Oppenheimer, and even like Will Ferrell was a fantastic casting, and I thought he was fantastic as the CEO of Mattel, and just little actors here and there like Michael Cera as Alan. They just add some warmth to the film. But in terms of the actual appearance of the film, I thought it looked fantastic. Obviously, you've got your pastel pink and your baby blue, which it's very prominent, especially at the start of the film when you're taking in Barbie Land. Sorry, but It did look beautiful, and I genuinely was sitting there at times thinking, how on earth did this film get greenlit or made? Because like it's an obscure movie, and the way everything, just the attention to detail, the way everything moves, especially when they're in Barbie Land, is almost as if it's kids playing with the dolls, and rather than moving it, it's just the attention to detail is immaculate, and I thought they did fantastic there. I thought the film, deep down in its heart, is very much a Greta Gerwig film, and I love that. Her previous films in Little Women, Lady Bird, most recently are just beautiful character studies in a way, and come down to the human side of things, love, and this film, I think, gets the best of her previous work, and really sort of obviously Noah Baumbach, who's her husband, who's written and directed some fantastic films as well. The script is where it really shines, in my opinion, in terms of the dialogue and the actual story itself. But I guess when you get deep down to it, what I think really made this film work is the story, and that's kind of really where it had everything for me that I wanted. It had laughs, like I was cackling the whole film. But where it really shines is it has a serious amount of heart. And there were moments in this film where I was genuinely like very moved and close to tears. And it does ask the question of, humanity and what, the theme of like
Society.
the themes of society, what we're here for, what we're here on earth for, what are we built for, all that. And it's very much it's a kid, like, you could take your 5-year-old kid to see it or any kid for that matter to see this and they'll get it at face value. But obviously it's very similar to like a Pixar film like Inside Out, in my opinion, where it's a very, at surface level, it's a very beautiful looking film. It's funny, but there's so much heart and so much thematical, like deep and meaningful stuff here at play that really elevates the film for me. And I thought it was genuinely a beautiful film about self-discovery and belonging and yeah, like I was genuinely moved, and I think it really shown obviously due to the performances, but the script writing and the directing I think really was fantastic. There wasn't sort of much, I guess, at score level. There was very much
There was some original scores though.
It was very much soundtrack heavy, which I think really worked for the film. Obviously, you've got your planned choreography and your sing and dance numbers and things like that. So I genuinely don't have really any fault for the film, which I know that's 2 films in a row that I don't really have any fault for. But like, man, this is exactly what I was wanting, but it was also more. I was wanting a really good comedy, and I know I said from the get-go when we did our trailer reaction that I hope this is a film that goes into that deeper level, and it did it ×3 in my opinion. Like, it was a lot more than what I was expecting, and man, I will genuinely watch this film for years to come because I had a great time and it moved me deeply, and I'll kind of have an existential crisis sitting there in bed tonight thinking, what on earth are we here for? But yeah. At least the film moved me, So, but no, I think everything worked. I think everything was brilliant. The fact that this costed, 150 mil, they gave this money. The fact that Mattel greenlit it, where it takes the piss out of Mattel and corporations and things like that, genuinely baffles me. So congratulations, Mattel. I give you props there. But man, Greta Gerwig can do anything in my opinion, and she'll be great. I know she was attached to potentially do The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe Chronicles of Narnia series for Netflix. So whether, they obviously Netflix give them the freedom, but man, I think she's a fantastic director. She's still very young, and man, she's a force. I have no faults. So we'll move on to you because I'm genuinely, sorry, I exited the cinema just with a grin on my face and it hasn't been able to leave. So
this is why I want him to start. And that's why he got that nice articulation. That's the word, right? Articulation. But you were 100% spot on. Like, going into this film, you and I both knew we were going to have probably a great time. But it had, like you said, a lot more depth to it, a lot more character and a lot more heart than I was kind of expecting. And I knew it was going to probably touch on some maybe like on the nose kind of like topics. But there's a lot that you get out of this without kind of really upsetting everyone too, or anyone in particular. There was a lot of growth points for nearly anyone that would watch this, I think, which is some extra credit for itself. It was definitely well cast. You were 100% spot on with that. Margot Robbie, absolutely fantastic. But you were 100% spot on. Ken?
Ryan, which Ken?
Oh, true. Some good Ken attendances there too. But Ryan Gosling was absolutely fantastic. The humor that he brought to it, that is so like how I would picture his character, was 100% spot on, and he delivered that fantastically and deliciously. And I really hope that when it comes to award times, his name's at least up there for some of that. It was absolutely enjoyable. And a movie that's kind of, featured around Barbie, it's good to see there's a lot of lessons for everyone, including Ken too himself. It was good. This film had a lot of depth and a lot of heart to it, kind of like what you said. And you're right, there wasn't really too much of a score, but it was some like fantastic soundtrack choices and original soundtracks too. Obviously not ones that just nicked.
Well, I think all of it, like apart from Barbie World, which was a remix anyway, I'm pretty sure majority of it, apart from 1 or 2 songs, obviously, were original. because they're releasing a full sound, apart from obviously the one notable.
I know there's only been like a really small point of Ken's song, but I want that downloaded. That was fucking fantastic.
It's already on. It's on the soundtrack.
It's
been confirmed.
absolutely fantastic.
I'm pretty sure it's on YouTube. You could watch it. It was a clip.
Also relatable, like anyone else. But you know, this. Look, I don't know where to go with this. This film was just great. I had a great time. I got a lot out of this, and there was a lot to learn. It's probably a film that sometimes I guess maybe hard to relate to, but it does try to put you really in the shoes of the storyteller, and it delivers that quite well.
I think it definitely caters obviously more to, not in a negative way to women, because it obviously does chat about body image and the negative effects I guess Barbie has had and even the positives, but it does obviously chat about that. But I guess that's where our empathetic side comes in, and we try and obviously relate. But yeah, I definitely think it did a perfect job of kind of weighing those things and balancing everything out. And as you said, Margot Robbie, I think where the film really exemplified and like shined was just the humanity behind her performance.
Yeah.
Facial. I know we've chatted about like Florence Pugh in terms of facial expressions, like just scenes where she's got a monologue, sequence where she's having a heart to heart, and you can just like almost see the innocence and pain behind the eyes of someone who doesn't understand the world, and it really hits. Like it genuinely does, and I think the young audience will definitely enjoy it, and then they'll look back on it. You know, they might rewatch it in 20 years' time and see it in a whole different light. And I think it's a beautiful film that every time you watch it, you'll probably get something new out of it, and that's where I guess cinema and film really holds up. And I know this film will probably have financial legs in terms of making a lot of money, but I can see this being a cult classic. And you don't often see this as well. Like when you have films adapted, it's obviously adapted after a doll or toy. Like you don't really see it being a top tier film. Like this will probably be in my top 10 of the year come the end of the year, bar all, if there's not any more fantastic movies. But
I know.
You don't often more. Like it will be probably at the Oscars to some degree, whether it be best adapted screenplay, best set design, like everything here.
Some
like,
beautiful set designs too.
It's all immaculate.
Obviously we talk about like cinematography, but you're right, 100%. The set design for the whole Barbie world was next level. It was original to every aspect, but also faithful to its predecessor in its history. With obviously some nice throwbacks for anyone that, spent some time with those Barbies growing up from probably early 60s to current point in time. There's a lot for everyone out of that. But the set design was phenomenal, and it was so good. And then the transition to I guess kind of the real world was well done. Like the change in color gradient, the way it would kind of end up being shot different. The movements of every character was different. That was a lot more like earthy. That was a lot more down to realism. And like they really separated them quite well, but not to a point of where it, I guess, kind of split the movie apart. It felt like it was very...
not to a detriment of itself.
Agreed.
The attention to detail is genuinely second to none in terms of the effort they put into this film and the love behind everything. You can tell everyone had a blast making it, and I think that really shows. That makes the film. When you enjoy what you're doing, and when you enjoy what you're doing, when you hear someone talking about something they love, it kind of exuberate, like you feel that energy.
Yeah.
But man, no, I can't give this film enough compliments.
No. Go watch this film, and if you don't like it,
probably already
get
seen
stuffed.
it.
But great film. Great
films are subjective, but if you don't like this, we will find you and let you know about it. But no, please go see it. We probably don't need to convince you because you'll. I'm sure it'll definitely be watched at some degree at some point. But please see it. Give it the money it deserves. Give it the love it deserves. Because I want to hear people talking about this film.
Yeah, and I hope everyone else gets a lot out of it too, like we did.
Yes, yeah. There are your laughs to be had, but there are genuine life lessons and some serious heartful messages in the film. And man, that's I think what elevated it. It could have been a great comedy, but it's just a great movie. The emotional side of things, it just
great movie.
Yeah, but no. Let us know what you think in the comments below if you have seen it. Other than that, feel free to subscribe, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks, guys.